Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Greece once again, and this is yet another of the beers that I brought back with me from my recent trip over there. So for this one we're going to go to the island of Santorini and do my first review from Santorini Brewing Co, who are of course known for their donkey symbol. So for this one we're going to have a taste of the yellow donkey. This guy is a sort of golden ale, blonde ale type beer, and it comes in at 5% ABV. So this one's hopped with Styrian Goldings from Slovenia, Aurora, which if I'm remembering correctly is a German hop. It's also got some Cascade in it from America, and it's also got Matuika from New Zealand in it. So it should be a really interesting beer, this one. The guys at Sorry Mum Liquor Store in Athens recommended this one to me, so I'm sure it'll be quite an interesting beer. The other ones they recommended to me are really interesting. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. The Greek beers that I've tried so far have been pretty good. So yeah, so as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Santorini Brewing Company. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, like I said. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Greek beers that I've reviewed for you. That is being added to over the next little while, like I said. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Santorini Brewing Company then, on to my brewery notes. So Santorini Brewing Company are based in Kamari near Thira on the Greek island of Santorini, which is really, it's kind of down towards Crete actually when I was looking on the map. But the company was founded back in 2011 by a multinational group of friends. So the brewery is composed of 4 people. This is Boban Krunic, who is a Serbian brewer. There's Maida Anderson, who's originally from California, who's got various different talents according to the website. And there's also Yanis Paraskevopoulos, if I've pronounced that correctly, who's a Greek winemaker. And there's also Steve Daniel as well, who's an English brewer and owns the Rocky Head Brewery in London as well. But he was previously involved at Oddbins, which, if you don't know, if you're watching in Greece, Oddbins is a sort of wine dealer, but more recently they have been kind of doing a lot of craft beer and things like that. It's a sort of chain alcohol shop that is it's fairly common in Scotland, and I think down in England as well. But the brewery have their own small base, and they're producing around 75,000 litres of beer per year. The equipment in the brewery comes from Flex Brauhaus in Austria and also Greenox in Greece as well, and it looks like a really quite modern operation as well actually. They sell their local grains to local farmers and stuff like that, and for fertiliser. They also use like solar energy as well for the brewery, which is very cool. So they are environmentally conscious. If you look at the pictures of the brewery on the website, like I say, that link is in the description below. It looks like a really nice kind of modern small operation. I think back in 2014 or 2013 they started exporting a couple of their beers over to the US, so you might be able to find these beers in the US actually. But the donkey symbol that they use comes from the fact that tourists often ride by donkey from the port up to Thira, which is one of the main towns, and that was why they decided to use the donkey as their symbol, because it is a well-known tourist symbol, and is, you know, quite recognisable and associatable with Santorini, of course. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery. A nice little local island craft brewery over in Greece. It's kind of cool to see these things sort of going around. You do get local Santorini wines and stuff like that as well, and it's somewhere that I really do need to visit at some point. It'd be nice for to go for a couple of days down in Santorini and just have a look at it. But yeah, that's all you need to know about the brewery. Like I said, the brewery website's in the description below. I'll put their Facebook page as well, and you can keep up to date with all the latest goings on at the brewery. But yeah, let's have a little, I'll just give you a little look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. There you can see the yellow donkey there. These guys incidentally have got about 4 or 5 beers. There's Crazy Donkey, Red Donkey, Yellow Donkey, White Donkey, and also Slow Donkey as well, from what I remember. But yeah, you can see the donkey is on the bottle cap as well there. And yeah, nicely presented beer, this one. Santorini Brewing Company, established 2011, and as I say, a 5% golden ale, this beer, a hip hoppy kick-ass ale. So yeah, without further ado, let's get it out and we'll go on with the tasting. I do actually quite like donkeys. I remember when I was young, I used to go to a farm just outside of Stirling with my grandpa. He always used to go and get his cheese, and I think he got milk and stuff like that from the farm as well, and we always used to go and see Johnny the donkey, who was the farm's donkey. We used to feed him polos and things. He absolutely loved polos for some reason. So I don't know how healthy that was for the donkey right enough, but the farmers always say, oh, you can give Johnny some polos. So I do love donkeys. I've got some fond memories with my grandpa of going to visit Johnny the donkey. But yeah, as you can see with this beer then, it's a nice kind of hazy golden colour. There's a solid, just short of a finger of a frothy head on this one. I would say it's pretty much perfect white. It's not really creamy or anything like that. You can smell some of the nice fruity notes of this beer coming out just as you open it up. But yeah, if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see the beer is quite hazy actually. One or two little pieces of sediment just floating around on the bottom there. But yeah, a couple of big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall, pretty much as you would expect a golden ale to look. I'm not sure if the haze, I think this beer's maybe been in the bottle by the looks of it. Yeah, it's been in the bottle maybe around 2 or 3 months, so I'm not sure how much haze this beer kind of should have. But let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we got on. You could smell a little bit of the fruits as you open the beer up. But yeah, with this one, definitely nice little bit of a kind of slightly bready-ish note from the malt base. It's a little bit biscuity as well, to be honest. Yeah, and it's got, you know, it's kind of typical of a golden ale that usually golden ales are nice and kind of leaning towards the hoppy side of things. With this one, you can definitely pick up a little bit of the almost noble hop characteristics. So that'll be from the Styrian Goldens. It's got a nice little bit of sweet earthiness, the lighter kind of grassy notes, and just a little bit more of that kind of floral character to it. But you can definitely pick up a little bit of the grapefruit and the slightly more, not quite spicy, but just the more pungent floral notes, which I'm guessing will be from the Cascade. And this beer's got a little bit of a slightly limey character, or it's got a very light tropical fruit to it as well, which will be the Motueka. The New Zealand hops always give you this really nice, juicy tropical fruit, and you can definitely pick up a little bit of that lemon limey note in this one. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But this one, it does lean towards the hoppy side of things. That sort of limey note and slightly tropical fruit note in this one is quite interesting. A lot of nice floral and grassy character, like I say, a little bit of a bready malt base and some kind of sweet biscuit too. But as I always say, take a little bit of time, enjoy that aroma, but let's get stuck into this one then. So this one is the Yellow Donkey, a golden blonde type ale from the Santorini Brewing Company on the island of Santorini in Greece. Let's get stuck into this one. Slange Skol Yamas. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice, very kind of straight up beer. You know, this one, it's a little bit like a kind of craft session beer, if that makes sense. At 5% though, in fairness, it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of at the top end of what you would call a session beer technically, I guess. But in terms of a golden ale, blonde ale, to be honest, golden ale is a style that's quite difficult to get right. I've seen a lot of breweries try it. One of the best ones I actually had was from a brewery in Australia. I'm sure it was Red Hill Brewery or something they were called, but they had a really, really nice golden ale. And for me, this is another one that kind of ticks the box. Like a golden ale, it's got a little bit more malty character and a little bit more hoppy character to it than the likes of a Pils or something like that, I would always say. And this one, it ticks all the boxes for me. Yeah, I like what this one's doing. I mean, in terms of the malt base, you've got a little bit of that white bready quality that just blankets the middle of your palate there. I'd suspect, going by the flavours, there's a bit of German malt being used in this beer. Unsurprisingly, German malt is very, very popular. But yeah, that nice kind of white bready quality, that just blankets the middle of your palate. On top of that, you do get a little touch of grainy quality coming out of this one towards the front of the tongue as you progress further and further into the aftertaste. But there's a little bit of sweet biscuit in there. It's almost got a little bit of a kind of bready, buttery kind of note as well. But the malt base is nice enough for this. It's got that typical bready note you'd expect, and a little bit of sweetness in there as well. But yeah, with this beer then, on the hoppy side of things, back corners of the palate is kind of as you'd expect. There's a nice little bit of earthiness there. It's a sort of noble earthiness. It's a little bit sweeter than as you come further forward on the sides of your palate. You've got a little bit of herbal quality there. Then as you go further forward along the front sides of the palate, you've got a little bit of a nice, slightly spicy floral note to that. That'll be, I guess that'll be from the New Zealand hop, from the Watuka and the Cascade. But then as you go round the front curve of the palate, you get a little bit of that kind of lighter grassy note, and that I think is probably more the Aurora and the Styrian Golding. The way the grassy characters coming out, they do have those kind of noble hoppy qualities to the beer. And of course, just behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get that nice little oily bubble where the juicy fruity qualities start to come out of the beer. So yeah, with this one then, you can feel a little bit of that kind of cascadey grapefruit just forming the backbone of the beer, and that comes out as you go further and further into the flavour of this beer. But there's a little bit of that kind of lemon limey note. I think it's mainly the lime that's kind of coming out of this beer as you go further into the aftertaste. The sort of grapefruit from the Cascade just lingers there, and you get a nice bit of limey character as you go kind of further and further into it. But yeah, a little bit of a, as I say, that the noble hoppy qualities are just lingering there. A bit of the kind of malty smoothness and sweetness, and then the juicy fruits out of the beer as well. But overall, it's a nice golden ale that in terms of the flavours, for me it ticks all the boxes, and it's nice and it's light enough that you can enjoy it in the heat in somewhere like Santorini. But yeah, definitely a nice beer, this one. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say, yeah, probably on the lighter side of mid-bodied. Carbonation is quite smooth in this one. I'm surprised it's not a little bit more crisp in its carbonation, to be honest, considering where it's from. The mouthfeel, it's got a little touch of oily character too, but mainly it is a wet mouthfeel. It is quite refreshing in that regard. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness to this one. It's not going to blow your head off in terms of IBUs by any means, and there's a nice bit of mainly smoothness from the malt, but it does have a little bit of a sweet edge to it, and there's some nice juicy fruit to this beer as well. But overall, a really solid beer, a really nice golden ale, which, as I say, is a style that can be quite difficult to get right, but the guys at Santorini have obviously done a good job with this one, and I'm glad that I was able to review this for you. So yeah, let's leave it at that. So hopefully I can try another one of these Santorini Brewing Company beers, try a different one of the donkeys, of course. But for me, they've done a really solid golden ale with this one, and hopefully I can get out to Santorini and have a taste of one of these actually on the island. That would be really cool. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know which of the donkeys is your favourite one, and hopefully I can try more of them in the future. It's been really cool to do this one for you. Make sure you check out all my social media, and I will catch you guys very soon with more beer reviews. There are more Greek videos to come for you over the next little while, of course. But yeah, until the next time, stand you just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. This was the Yellow Donkey from Santorini Brewing Company on the island of Santorini in Greece. Skol, Yamas.